Just imagine this for a second, because what happened tonight was not just another strike. It was the kind of event that quietly rewrites the rules of an entire conflict, and if you miss the first detail, you will completely miss the real story behind it. At exactly 11:46 tonight, reports began to spread that Shahed 136 drones had reached Tel Aviv, and the reason people are shocked is not only that they got there, but that the usual confidence around air defense suddenly looked a lot less invincible than everyone assumed. The Iron Dome fired, David's Sling fired, Arrow fired. And still, according to the early footage and reports, some of the drones got through, which means this was not just an attack. This was a message aimed directly at the idea of protection itself. Before I go any further, I need to say something very clearly, because I put a lot of time into this analysis, I collect the news carefully, and it honestly feels frustrating when people watch but do not like, do not subscribe, and do not share. Even though I also reply to your comments, so please follow Market Mindset and also Market Mindset 2, because your support is what keeps this work alive. Now let me take you deeper, because the real question is not simply how many drones were launched, but why this moment matters so much that it may force military planners, governments, and intelligence agencies to rethink what they believed was secure just a few hours ago. The Shahed 136 is not a normal weapon in the way people casually think about drones, because it is designed to be cheap, hard to spot, and dangerous enough to create a serious problem for systems that were built to stop faster, more predictable, and more conventional threats. That is exactly why this story is so powerful. Because every time a low-cost weapon forces a high-cost defense to react, the side with the cheaper tool starts changing the battlefield economics in a way that can decide wars long before the fighting ever ends. And that is where tonight becomes far bigger than one city, one attack, or one video clip. Because what happens when the sky itself turns into a contest between mass production and expensive interception is something no regional power can ignore for very long. If you're watching this and wondering how a drone swarm could possibly create this much concern, the answer is as simple, because modern air defense is not just about power, it is about timing, saturation, radar pressure, reaction speed, and the brutal math of how long your system can keep firing before it begins to strain. And that strain is exactly what makes this incident so dangerous. Because a swarm is never just about the drones that hit. It is also about the missiles that are launched, the battery systems that are drained, and the confidence that gets quietly weakened in the process. In other words, the attack itself may have been only the opening move, while the deeper purpose may have been to force defenders into a costly pattern of response that becomes harder to sustain if this kind of pressure continues again and again. Now look at the bigger picture, because Iran and the wider proxy network around it have spent years developing a strategy that depends not on one dramatic weapon, but on repeated pressure, layered threats, and the ability to stretch enemy defenses until the system begins to show cracks. That is why tonight's events should not be treated like a random burst of violence, because everything about the way people are describing the attack suggests planning, coordination, timing, and a clear understanding of how to create maximum psychological and strategic impact at once. And once that becomes clear, the next question becomes much more frightening. Because if one swarm can force this level of attention, what happens if the pattern repeats, expands, or is combined with missiles, rockets, cyber pressure, and coordinated attacks from multiple directions? That is the kind of question governments hate, military analysts obsess over, and ordinary people need to understand, because the future of this conflict is no longer about isolated events. It is about whether escalation becomes a method, not just an accident. At this point, it is impossible to ignore the psychological side of what happened, because even limited damage can create unlimited fear when people begin to wonder whether the shield they trusted is as reliable as they thought it was only yesterday. That fear matters, because in war, perception can move markets, influence policy, shake alliances, and pressure leaders into decisions that look defensive on the surface but become deeply strategic once the wider consequences start unfolding. And if that sounds dramatic, remember that every major conflict in modern history has had a moment where the battlefield message was bigger than the physical damage, and tonight may be one of those moments if the reports continue to hold. The drones themselves are only part of the story because the command structure behind them is what makes this so serious. And when you start looking at the role of the IRGC Aerospace Force, the meaning of the operation becomes much more deliberate and much more calculated. This is not a group that thinks casually. This is an organization that studies adversary defenses, watches patterns, learns from previous confrontations, and then designs responses that are meant to expose weaknesses rather than just cause noise. So when people ask whether this was a one-time event or the beginning of something larger, they are really asking whether this was a test, a warning, or the first visible stage of a longer campaign that has been prepared for far longer than the public realizes. And that is where the story starts to widen beyond military hardware. Because once one state believes it can stress another state's defense architecture at scale, the entire balance of deterrence begins to shift in ways that diplomats cannot easily reverse. This is also why the cost equation matters so much, because a cheap drone that forces $1 million response is not merely a tactical annoyance, it becomes a strategic lever that can slowly drain resources and raise the price of every future decision. That kind of pressure is exactly what attrition warfare looks like in the air, and it is one of the most unsettling developments in modern conflict, because it rewards persistence, scale, and production over elegance, prestige, and traditional defense assumptions. And if you think that sounds like a problem for one country only, think again, because when a tactic proves effective in one theater, it gets studied everywhere else, copied quickly, and adapted for use by actors who want the same advantage at a lower cost. That is why tonight is about more than Tel Aviv, more than Israel, and more than Iran. Because once the world sees that swarms can test even the most advanced defenses, every military planner in every major capital starts asking the same uncomfortable question. How many layers of defense are enough when the attacker can produce pressure faster than the defender can replenish interceptors? And how long can superiority remain superiority when the enemy stops trying to fight fairly and starts trying to fight economically? That is the kind of question that changes budgets, procurement plans, alliance behavior, and future doctrine. Because the battlefield is no longer only the place where weapons land, it is the place where economic endurance is measured in real time. And that is why the next 72 hours are going to matter so much, because what happens now will reveal whether this attack stays symbolic, becomes retaliatory, or opens the door to a much wider regional confrontation that nobody can easily control. Watch carefully for how Israel responds, because the scale, timing, and target selection of the response will tell you whether this is being treated as a limited emergency or as the beginning of a far more dangerous strategic cycle. Watch the United States as well, because Washington's tone, military posture, naval movements, and diplomatic language will show whether leaders are trying to contain the crisis or quietly preparing for a much larger chain reaction. And watch the wider region, because the reactions from neighboring states, especially those already balancing complex relationships with both sides, will tell you whether fear is spreading faster than the official statements are willing to admit. The reason I keep returning to the regional picture is simple, because once one major actor feels exposed, the others begin adjusting their behavior immediately, and that adjustment can be just as important as the original attack itself. In the language of strategy, this is called shaping the battlefield. But in plain language, it means forcing everyone else to react to your move before they have fully processed what just happened. And that is exactly what tonight appears designed to do. Now take a step back and look at the moral and political pressure this creates. Because no government wants to be seen as vulnerable, no military wants to look outpaced, and no leader wants to explain to a frightened public why the sky no longer feels fully secure. That is why the psychological dimension is so important. Because when people lose confidence in protection, they begin demanding action. And leaders under pressure often make decisions faster, harder, and sometimes more dangerously than they otherwise would. And once retaliation enters the equation, the entire conflict becomes harder to contain, because every strike invites a response. Every response raises the stakes, and every higher step on the ladder makes the next step more difficult to avoid. That is the exact kind of escalation spiral that policymakers spend years trying to prevent. Yet crises like this can accelerate the process in a matter of hours if the right actors decide that restraint is no longer politically possible. So the real question tonight is not whether the drones were real, because the reports suggest they were, but whether this incident marks the moment when deterrence starts to look less like a wall and more like a contest. And once a contest begins, the side that can sustain pressure longer often gains the advantage, which is why the industrial side of warfare matters so much, because production, replenishment, logistics, and scale can end up deciding outcomes that headlines make look purely tactical. This is also why analysts are paying close attention to the drone supply chain, because if one actor can continuously generate cheap platforms faster than the other side can intercept them, the whole strategic map becomes more complicated overnight. Some people will say this is just another exchange, just another headline, just another day in a long conflict. But the view misses the deeper shift, because the moment a defense system is tested in public and the image of invulnerability weakens, the entire war changes shape. And the public part matters, because wars today are fought not just on the ground and in the air, but across screens, feeds, comments, and instant reactions, where every image can amplify fear faster than any press release can calm it down. That is why the narrative battle is already underway, because whichever side can define tonight first will influence how the next move is interpreted, whether as victory, warning, desperation, or proof that something much larger is already happening. If you're still with me, then you already understand why this story deserves serious attention, because this is not about sensationalism, It is about recognizing when one event may be the opening crack in a much larger strategic structure. And once that crack appears, everyone starts looking at the same question from different angles, because one side sees opportunity, the other sees vulnerability, and the region sees risk spreading through every diplomatic and military channel at once. That is why I'm telling you to pay attention to the next moves, because the response will tell us far more than the attack itself ever could, especially if that response reveals whether the goal is punishment, deterrence, or escalation. The stakes are now bigger than one city and one night, because any direct strike, retaliation, or miscalculation could pull in actors who were not supposed to be at the center of the story, but who may end up being forced into it anyway. This is how regional crises become global concerns, not all at once, but through a chain of reactions that starts with a single breach of confidence and then spreads through military planning, diplomacy, energy markets, and alliance politics. And that is why people watching this should not treat it as background noise, because the decisions made after an event like this often matter more than the event itself, especially when every side is calculating what it can do next without losing face. The more I look at it, the more it feels like tonight was not only an attack, but also a test of how much pressure the entire system can absorb before something gives, whether politically, militarily, or psychologically. That is the kind of test nobody wants to fail. Because if the answer is that defenses can be saturated, responses can be delayed, and public confidence can be shaken, then the strategic consequences extend far beyond the immediate battlefield. So here is the bigger truth, and I want this to stay with you, because wars are not only won by striking hard, they're also won by forcing the other side to spend more, think slower, and feel less certain every time the next threat appears. That is what makes tonight so important. Because if the reports are accurate, the message was not only that drones can reach a target, but that the cost of stopping them may be a burden that grows harder to carry the longer this confrontation lasts. And when that burden grows, the political pressure grows with it, the strategic anxiety grows with it, and the likelihood of a larger regional reaction grows with it, which is exactly why this moment deserves serious, clear-eyed attention. So remember this carefully, because what looks like a drone strike at first glance may actually be the opening chapter of a much broader story about deterrence, technology, vulnerability, and the dangerous new logic of modern conflict. The world often notices these moments too late, after the assumptions have already changed, and after the people in power are forced to react to a reality they wish they had taken more seriously much earlier. That is why I want your opinion, because your perspective matters in these moments. And I want you to tell me whether you think tonight was a warning shot, a coordinated escalation, or the beginning of a far more dangerous phase. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I read them, I reply to them, and I want this channel to be a place where serious people actually talk about serious events instead of skimming past them without understanding what they mean. If this breakdown gave you value, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs to understand what is happening. Comment your opinion below, and subscribe to Market Mindset so you do not miss the next update when the situation moves again.